So today we are going to be talking about the new Atlassian Experience. Who here was able to attend the keynote on Tuesday and heard Jürgen speak? Yeah? Oh, heaps of you. Awesome. Did you guys like it? You're excited about the new experience? Awesome. Yeah. So if you missed the keynote or it's been a couple of days, so if you want a quick recap, I'm just going to talk about our thinking behind this new experience. So when we were designing the new experience, our goal was to simplify the product while retaining the powerful functionality that our product suite has. So this, you all know this screen, this is the current JIRA issue view screen as it is today. And the first thing we did was focus on the core content of our products. And this meant removing anything that didn't add to this. So we got rid of the global navigation, we got rid of the side navigation, and as you can see, we are left with this core content. After we'd done this, we spoke to hundreds of customers. We did a ton of research to find out what was important to them and what we needed to focus on. And through that research, we found that we needed to focus on maximizing readability and comprehension of the products. So to do that, the first thing we did was remove unnecessary lines, gradients, and general clutter from the UI. Then we added a grid system to align the content and make it easier and faster to read. We updated the colors and UI components to be warmer and friendlier. And then finally, we added in our navigation, and we added it to the left side, which simplifies the product from a hierarchical perspective and makes it easier to scan and consume information. So this is the new Atlassian Experience, and as you can see, we have changed the product structure, navigation patterns, and UI components across the whole product suite for cloud. So what does this mean for add-ons and our developer community and people like you customizing our products? That's what we're here to talk about today, and to do this, we're going to walk through step by step how to go about updating your add-ons to fit with the new experience and take advantage of the new tools that we have for you. To do this, I am going to talk to an example. This is an add-on on the marketplace today. It's called My Reminders. Does anyone actually use My Reminders? One person. Okay, well that's awesome. Maybe the rest of you will learn about a cool little tool that you can add to your JIRA. So we are going to redesign My Reminders together today from the current experience to the new experience. And since a lot of you aren't familiar with the add-on, I'm going to do a quick demo. It's a fairly simple add-on. Basically, it allows the user to notify themselves, send themselves an email notification at a certain time from a JIRA issue. So let's take a quick look. As you can see, we click the Add Reminder button and a dialog pops up. We set the date and time and send ourselves a message. Now you can see it added to the UI there. Then we can do a quick create from the drop-down. And if we go into our user profile at the top there, we can see a page with all of our reminders across the whole JIRA instance from all different issues. So very simple add-on, but we are going to redesign this together today. So the first thing we're going to do is focus on this panel. Now, if you went to the keynote this morning, or I'm sure if you've been building with us for a while, you'll be familiar with the Atlassian design guidelines. For the new experience, we have updated the Atlassian design guidelines. This is a screenshot of our new website. It is atlassian.design. And if you're not familiar with it, this website houses our UI components across the whole product suite, our design foundations, so things like our colors and typography, and it has design patterns, things like mentions and forms that are consistent across our whole product suite. It also has information on our brand design, our marketing, and AtlasKit, which Jony is going to talk about later. So we use this tool, this website, a lot at Atlassian. I refer to it many times a day. As I said, it's called the Atlassian Design Guidelines, but we love an acronym, so we call it the ADG. And the new website is referred to as ADG 3, if you hear that. But today I'm going to say ADG a lot, and when I do, I'm referring to this website and the design guidelines on it. So anyway, let's get straight into it. So the first thing we would do to redesign our My Reminders add-on is to go to the ADG website and have a look through. So we're interested in product design for this, and you can see here all of our UI components. We're looking for buttons, and as we scroll through here, you can see the ADG is very detailed on the different types of buttons we have, the different uses for them, how to label them, when to use the different variations. It's very specific, which is important for you to get the behavior right. So for this design, we need this split button because we've got that drop-down component. So we've found that here in our design guidelines, and we can replace that in our design. And you can see we've got that drop-down there for the quick create. That's our first component. Very exciting. So now, if you remember, after we click the Add Reminder button, we are presented with this dialog to create your reminder. So again, we need to find out how this dialog is represented in the new design guidelines. We go back to our website, find dialog in the side there, and we can see all the information about the different types of dialogues we have and the different uses for dialogues. Now, you may be thinking, if you're familiar building with our UI components, that for the most part, a dialogue is an iframe. So how can you really know how to display content in there according to Atlassian design? So what we've done in the new ADG website is provide some patterns, some ideas of how we and you could represent different types of content within a dialogue. So you can go through here and get some inspiration for your own design and simply just copy them, which saves you a ton of design time, and it means it will be a consistent experience for the user. So you can have a scroll through here. There's design patterns for representing a form in a dialogue, simple text, code. There's a whole different set of options in there, so I encourage you to go take a look. But for this design, we just need a detailed dialogue. So if we go back to our add-on, we can replace that in our design. Looks beautiful. And I've also added in here the date picker pattern. This is a design pattern that you can find on the website under the pattern section. It's called the date picker, and that means that we can have a consistent way of selecting a date across all of our products. So the users can learn this pattern and recall it and be familiar with it. So then after we click Create in our add-on, the reminder appears on the UI of the JIRA issue. So you can see here that it's been added, Catch Up with Karen, and I've used the new font stack and font colors for this, and that is all detailed in the foundation section of the website under typography. Now, design best practices say that when the user performs an action, we need to send some type of feedback, letting them know that they were successful or unsuccessful. So you may remember this flag notification from the original design saying that you successfully created your reminder. And we need to update this to the new design guidelines. So I bet you can't guess what's going to happen next. We're going to go to our ADG website. It is the source of truth, and honestly, I refer to it many, many times a day, and I am a designer at Atlassian, so you'd think I'd know it off by heart. But we are going to find our flag messages section and have a scroll through there. You can see again all the different uses for flag messages, all the different types we have. Now, I just wanted to point out here, you can see the documentation also breaks down the structure of a flag notification. And this is actually really important to make sure that you get the behavior right. So for example, we want to make sure that the dismiss button of a notification is in the same spot, it looks the same, behaves the same every single time the user is presented with one of these messages, so that it's a pattern that they can learn and recall every time they see it. You can imagine it would be pretty confusing if the dismiss button on these notifications changed in every product. So we go back to our add-on and switch out that design. Now flag notifications come in at the bottom left, as I said before, to improve and simplify the hierarchy and the way that users scan and consume information on the product. And that is our whole add-on design. We've updated the whole design now. So let's have a quick run through of the whole thing. I've updated the rest of the UI. So we add a reminder. We can select a date and time from the picker pattern, create that, and I've added a, quick create, I've added a remove icon on hover there as well. And I used the ADG icon guidelines to create that icon. So if you create custom icons for your add-ons, make sure you check out the icon guide to see what sizes and specs and colors you should be using for your icons to make them familiar for users. Now you may remember this screen from our original design. This was in the user profile section where you can see all of your reminders across the whole JIRA instance. I've also updated this design, as you can see here, it looks beautiful. And I used the new table pattern from the ADG website to create this design. So you can see it looks a little bit different to our current design, and it has the new fonts and colors in there as well. Now there are a couple of things I want to point out on this screen if you have JIRA add-ons yourself. You can see over in the left nav we have our My Reminders nav item, and there is an icon next to it there. I've used a default icon for this design, but you could use that icon to display anything you want. It could be your product logo or brand to represent what your add-on is to users there. So that's a great way for you to influence branding into your add-on. And another thing I wanted to point out, if you direct your eyes to the top right here, we have an actions button and a drop-down menu. Now, I didn't actually have any actions to include in this add-on. It's very simple, but if you were to include actions on one of these whole page iframes, that would be a great place to do it. It's very consistent with the way that we are designing JIRA in the new experience. So that is the whole add-on. It's been completely redesigned in the new experience. In a minute, I'm going to hand over to Jony, who's going to tell you how to implement my designs exactly as I designed them using AtlasKit, which as a designer, we love to hear. But before I hand off, I hope that going through the redesign of this add-on today taught you something. If you're new to the developer community and building add-ons, I hope you got an insight into how you could go about designing your add-ons. And if you have add-ons existing on the marketplace, I hope this reassured you and showed you how simple it is to update the design of your add-on. So now I'll hand over to Jony.
So what's some design without looking at some code, right? So in the next few slides, we'll see some code. So if you're a designer, bear with me. But the purpose of this is to demonstrate how easy it is with a new component library called AtlasKit. You can put these UI components into your projects. So Yeah, sample code, again, is all these components are already available in this UI component library called AtlasKit. And AtlasKit is basically Atlassian's version of open source React UI component library. And I'll talk through a few examples here and drawing from the slides from before. The first one is that we went to the site and looked for the split button, right? What you can see here is to achieve that split button look, all you need to do is create a button group inside, have a button and a drop down. And these two components are already available in AtlasKit. And all you need to do for the button is you just need to pass in the label of the button, and all the CSS, JavaScript behavior is already in there. It's provided to you, exactly as it is on the ADG site. To zoom in a little deeper into the drop-down. Drop-down, again, is like very simple. You pass in a list of items. This is, add tomorrow, in a week, in a month. And you pass in a few parameters to make sure it's positioned correctly, like should flip, trigger type, and you pass in a handler to basically handle the events that comes out from that drop down. And here, and then you can call other functions to either call your REST API to store these data or do other actions on the in your add-on, so very simple. And last but not least, I love this one because there's so much, it's so hard to create a date picker, but it's already, again, is a one-liner thing. Just say stateless calendar, put in an event handler, and it will pass you an object of the date, and it includes all the pagination for the calendar and the dates. The formatting is already provided in this component. Let's go through. So next I want to go through the site. There are two ways to find the API documentation if you're a developer. The first way is if you go through the ADG site again, just navigate to the component you want. There's an API docs button on the top right, and you'll be able to find documentation, live examples. That's what my team is working on at the moment. So not all components are ready, but they will be there very shortly, probably in a month, within a month. And also you can find this video doesn't show it, but all the prop types for all the React components are documented, so you know which type of object it accepts, what it does. Is all documented here. And the second way of getting here is if you're a developer, you can just go to atlaskit.atlassian.com. And again, there's a component section. All you need to do is come here and find the information you need. And in the next talk in the same room, I'll talk a little more about the documentation and other tools you can get started with AtlasKit. So stick around if you want to learn more about that. So yeah, try out AtlasKit, and this is the URL. And also for the ADG site is atlassian.design.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.